I'm Blake, a professional innovator and designer in pursuit of the invisible smart home. What do I mean by invisible smart home? I'll give an example at the end of this video.
Water leak alert.
Alright, so you've hacked your garage door, adding a relay or some other method described in my previous video. And you've added an inexpensive camera that connects with your smart home controller of choice, as well as the door sensor, maybe two for redundancy. Now you've got everything you need to do some smart stuff with your garage door. Alright, so let me talk about a few things I've done that I think add real value to the smart home to do with my garage door, and then a few things that you can do or will be able to do in the future. Alright, the first thing you should probably do is set up a couple virtual buttons that simulate the momentary contact of your finger, the push on for a second and then off, or probably half a second. I'm mostly a SmartThings guy, but most of the popular decent controllers, Habitat, Home Assistant, and so on, they'll support that kind of feature. You should have one button for close and one button for open for obvious reasons. You don't want to be closing it when you think you're opening it, or vice versa. All right, the first thing you should probably do is set up alerts. I like to use email as opposed to text messages. I also like to set up alerts for other members of the family in the way of a voice, and you could do that with a Google or Amazon speaker. I like to do it with our own Z-Wave device.
Garage door open.
So a garage door open and maybe one for close.
Garage door is now closed.
And then kind of a 5-minute warning when the garage has been open for too long.
Garage door left open.
And the next thing I would do is set up a automatic shut if it's been open for too long. I picked 10 minutes. Of course, you could pick any time that makes sense for you. And you could even tie that to other sensors in or around the garage if you had them, like a motion sensor. You'd have to be careful how you set that up. This is what it looks like in SmartThings. So trigger it with your finger or with a sensor or schedule, and it opens the garage, and then it turns itself off, acting as a momentary switch. And then of course you can trigger it again and it will close the garage. And of course in between you can get notifications and check the camera and so on if you need to. So with a camera outside the garage door, you could use it as security and, you know, take a look at who's approaching and let them in or not as required. And you could even if you position it right, unfortunately this one's not far enough out in the eave, I will probably move that. You could also tell if the garage door was open or closed as well. Here's an example of the same camera in a different location, obviously a colder location, properly positioned for both security and so you can check to see if the door is open or closed. And now a third purpose of the camera is, I think this one supports it, but I'm not sure. This is a Tapo C110, so maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the Akara. But you could use it with facial recognition and just automatically unlock or open the garage door. I also plan to add like a doorbell button on the garage entrance. A courier or somebody could just push it. Hey, let me in. I would know he was there and I could check the camera and open the garage door. Thanks. And speaking of couriers, I've added a simple routine that opens the garage door just a foot. So this is what it looks like when I push the Courier 12-inch up button. In SmartThings. And now the real world. So they can slide packages under, and then it'll automatically close after a minute or 5 minutes or whatever I want. And I could put that on a schedule or just do it when I know the courier is there because he's ringing the button. Lastly, I haven't figured it out yet, But I would like to know when the car arrives, when the car leaves, or when the car is there. To set different triggers or send notifications. And I'm working on that. So those are a few cool ways to bring your garage into your smart home and add some real value. So here's an example of what's not invisible about a smart lamp. All right, so you've added a lamp to your smart home using some sort of smart plug or outlet. And that's cool. You can set schedules, turn it off and on, and I don't know, maybe use it for security, or if you're the only one living there, you can use your phone to turn it off and on. But it's not really a great solution for anybody that isn't into the smart home. Your friends and family or spouse or children or grandchildren, when they need to use the lamp, they're just going to reach under and turn it off. And now it's not connected to the smart home. So a compromise solution is to add a button. And that's not bad. A button, you can turn it off and on with a button. But inherently, they have delays. And people will push it twice and it'll add confusion. Or people will just ignore that button and turn it off using a switch underneath anyway. I'm working on a solution to make a smart lamp invisible in your smart home. Invisible means it works for everybody. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and look for my next video. Cheers.